Hello, my name is Naola Davis, and today I'm going to talk to you about some brain myths. Dyslexia is the topic today. There are many myths associated with dyslexia. Um, I know because I've been diagnosed with dyslexia. Dyslexia is a chronological processing problem. I also have a visual processing problem, which complicates the matter. But for people with dyslexia, it's very challenging. Generally, it has been challenging for people with dyslexia to learn how to read. The article I'm going to deal with today has to do with debunking brain myths. And this is from Carey, year 2015. I also looked at an article within my module that was called Ask MIT, Why Don't We Use All of Our Brain Cells? It was on YouTube, and it was scooped by Gerald Carey from www.youtube.com, July 23rd, 2012. But today, the 7 myths that we're going to put to rest about dyslexia was also scooped by Gerald Carey from conversations.com, October 21st, 2015. With respect to this, there are many people in the United States and Australia. What I read stated that over 10% of the people within Australia have been diagnosed with dyslexia. And there are so many myths associated with it. For me, growing up, I had problems with B and D. My research tells me that just because you have problems with B and D doesn't necessarily mean you're dyslexic. Generally, young children have problems reading the B and D, but if after the first grade you still are having problems differentiating between B and D, then that might be a sign of dyslexia. So one of the myths of dyslexia is that people with dyslexia are bad spellers. That's not necessarily so. Some people with dyslexia spell perfectly fine. Other people don't. Another myth is people with dyslexia have problems reading. Some people do and some people don't. I mean, it's the same thing. It just depends on, I guess, how dyslexic you are. Another myth, dyslexia is the same for everyone. That's not true. There are different cases of dyslexia, different severities of dyslexia. Some people are very severely dyslexic and other people are not. One way to treat dyslexia is through gymnastics that I don't know where that came from, but unless it is mind gymnastics, then that might be a way of treating dyslexia, because generally what I have found is that with dyslexia you're using the wrong hemisphere of the brain. The left hemisphere of the brain is where language is, and people with dyslexia are using the right hemisphere of the brain, and this has caused problems. And so your brain can be trained to use the left hemisphere more appropriately. Phonics is a waste of time. That's another myth. Phonics is good. I mean, all young children should probably be using some form of phonics in order to learn how to read. So that was a myth. It is not a waste of time. And then last but not least, dyslexia runs in the family. So the statement was, dyslexia runs in my family, so why should I do anything about it since I'm going to have this for the rest of my life? Well, even if dyslexia runs in your family, because it can, Um, there are exercises you can do with your brain to help you learn how to read better. Dyslexia is, challenging for people who possess it. There are so many people with it. I looked up the number of like movie stars, musicians, entrepreneurs, and scientists. There are so many that I was going to start with 10, but my list quickly got to 14. And so I decided I won't mention any of them, let you look it up. There are many people who are dyslexic. So with that said and done, my name is Naola Davis, and I hope that this information with respect to dyslexia has helped you in some way, especially if you're dyslexic. Thank you.